Very warm welcome to all the dignitaries, different participants, faculty members, students, and all prestigious peoples from around the globe. We are here in the third day of International Summit, UN Sustainable Development and Goals. And here today with us, we have three keynote speakers who are going to speak on different topics. Now, I would like to invite worthy campus director of KC Group of Institutes, Professor Dr. Rashmi Gujarati, to welcome all the keynote speakers.
Very good afternoon from India. It's my pleasure to welcome all the guests and speakers, those who have joined from the various countries. We are organizing this international summit 10 to 15, and since 4 days we are organizing, and our speakers from different countries are here, those who are focusing on different goals. As we know that UN has took a agenda of sustainable development goals, and our speakers from various countries are focusing each goals. I welcome my all speakers, those who have joined this program. We are working as a team, as a volunteer on the support of UN Sustainable Development Goals. Since last 4 years, we are trying to spread the Sustainable Development Goals to our students in our society. Today, our speakers are Dr. Patricia, she is from Zimbabwe. Dr. Susanna, she is from Malaysia. Dr. Naira, she is from Egypt. They all are going to focus on UN Sustainable Development Goal 6, 7, and 8. As we know that Goal 6 is related with the cleanliness, access to safe water, sanitation and hygiene in the most human need for health and well-being. Billions of people will lack access to these basic services in 2030 unless progress. Demand of water is rising owing to rapid population growth, urbanization, and increased water needs from agriculture, industry, and energy sectors. So Dr. Patricia is going to focus on this goal, and she will explain that how we can save water and how we are using water in agriculture, in industry, or in other sectors. With that, Dr. Sujana is going to focus on goal 7. And as we know that decades of misuse, poor management, over extraction of groundwater and freshwater supplies has required with the water stress. In addition, countries are facing growing challenges linked to degraded water related ecosystem, water scarcity causes by climate changes, under investigation in water and sanitation of insufficient cooperation for that. Dr. Naira is going to focus on goal 8. It is related with decent work and economic development. And this is very important for each country. If the economic is good, it means that the living standard will be good of that country. The GDP will be grow for that company. So how we should do the work in a decent manner and how we can grow our economy. With this, the environment provide a series of renewable and non-renewable things. With that, it will be support to our society. I welcome all the speakers, guests in our this event, and I welcome the students. I welcome Professor Dr. Suman sir, Chancellor from APJ University, and other dignitaries in our this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So we are ready to hear our first keynote speaker of the day, Ambassador Dr. Patricia Gaudet. She is an educationist, a motivational and transformational speaker from Zimbabwe. Dr. Gonde is a Harare-based educationist. She has 31 years of teaching experience in both state and junior school. She's an author, she's a motivational and transformational speaker, and a globe educator. She's a multi-awardee. She advocates for women empowerment and girl child. She's also a board member of local and international organizations and a brand ambassador of different organizations. Dr. Patricia Gonde.
A lovely morning, afternoon, and evening to you all, viewers and participants across the globe. Let me begin by acknowledging the organizers of this event to give me this opportunity today to share with you about Sustainable Development Goal number 6. I'm excited to be here today to discuss Sustainable Development Goal number 6 because I believe that access to clean water and sanitation is a fundamental human right, and it is crucial for achieving sustainable development. And during this webinar, I'll just give a brief outline of what SDG 6 entails and its targets, and we'll discuss the challenges and opportunities related to the goal of achieving and exploring best practices for improving access and water and clear water and sanitation. Let me just share with you my slide. Let's hope I'll be able to manage to. I hope it's downloading. So, all right, yes. So sustainable development goal number 6 is one of the 17 sustainable development goals which were adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as part of the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. And with goal number 6, is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. And you can see in the screen that we've got targets that should be made by 2030. Let me just explain the targets. And as you can see, the target number 1, to ensure universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all. We know that we've got problems, especially in our communities, of accessing safe water and also its affordability. How affordable are we able to pay for the rates that are needed for water? And goal number 2, by 2030, achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all, and also end open defecation. We know that in most countries, they do not have the sanitation system, the toilets that are there, and they also use the open, also taking into consideration and paying special attention to the need of women and girls and those in vulnerable situations. Then looking at target number 3, to improve water quality by reducing pollution, eliminating dumping and minimizing release of hazardous chemicals and materials. We know that this is happening in our communities, in our industries. Pollution is happening each and every second. People dumping waste. So this is one of the goals set by the United Nations for 2030. And then target number 4, to increase water use efficiency and ensure sustainable withdrawals and supplies of fresh water. And then withdrawals and supplies of fresh water to address water scarcity. We know that water scarcity is a problem, especially in my continent in Africa, and I think all over the world we've got problems of water scarcity that we are going to look at in detail later. And then target number 5, to implement integrated water resources management at all levels, including through transboundary cooperation. We know that we can include the public-private organizations, the government as well is included. So how do we integrate our water resources? And then moving on, looking at protecting and restoring water-related ecosystems. So by 2030, substantially increase water efficiency across all sectors and ensure that there's sustainable withdrawals and supplies of fresh water. This will address water scarcity and substantially reduce the number of people suffering from water scarcity. And then by 2030 also implement integrated water resources management at all levels. That one I had looked at it. And then supporting the local engagement in water sanitation and management. So by 2030, we should be able to protect and restore water-related ecosystems. When we're talking about ecosystems, we include mountains, forests, the wetlands. We know that people have been building houses in the wetlands against the city authorities, aquifers, and lakes as well. So these are some of the things that we need to focus on, especially in terms of managing our water systems. And then facts and figures have shown that there are about 783 million people in the world don't have access to clean water, and about 2.5 billion who are without adequate sanitation. If you look at the photographs, they are clear enough. They can tell you what's happening, especially in terms of water scarcity. People going out early in the morning, as early as 3 o'clock, to line up to get water sources, especially in towns, and then people using open toilets, using the bush. So we can that's what goal number SDG number 6 is focusing on. And then if we are looking at according to the United Nations, there are 4 billion, about 4 billion people, almost 2/3 of the world's population. They experience severe water scarcity for at least 1 month each year, and over 2 billion people in countries where water supply is very inadequate. You can tell by the pictures that I showed you of people going out to bore some holes to look for water, to sink, to get water from water springs as well. And then half of the world's population living in areas facing water scarcity by early as 2025, and some 700 million people could be displaced by intense water scarcity by 2030, because the areas that they are living in, there's no water. They now like nomadic, moving from one place to another, looking for water, or they are displaced because of the cyclones. So these are some of the dangers that we face. And by 2040, roughly 1 in every 4 child worldwide will be living in areas of extremely high water stress, and it also has got its impact, especially on our health and our living standards. And then also looking at that, if you are looking at SDG number 6, it has got interlinkages with other goals, looking at the 3 pillars: the social dimension, the economic dimension, and the environmental dimension. If you look at linking it to SDG number 3, the access to clean water and sanitation is which is on good wealth and well-being. So if you've got access of water, clean water and sanitation, then you are able to maintain good health and prevent the spread of diseases. And then that's how it links with goal number 3. It also links with goal number 4 in that lack of access to clean water and sanitation can prevent children, especially girls, from attending school because they have to go and fetch water because of our gender roles in some areas. and then improving the access to clean water as well contributes to achieving SDG number 4, which is of quality education. And then we can also link it with goal number 5, on gender equality, that women and girls are disproportionately affected by lack of access to water and sanitation, and thereby contributing to achieving SDG number 5 because of that. We can also link it with goal number 8 on decent work and economic growth. That's the economic dimension interlinkage, whereby access to clean water and sanitation is essential for economic growth and job creation, especially in sectors such as when we are looking at agriculture, we are looking at the manufacturing sector as well. Then it's also linked to SDG number 11 on sustainable cities and communities, whereby access to clean water and sanitation is essential for creating sustainable and resilient cities and communities. Let's think of people building on wetlands as well. It also links with SDG number 11 on sustainable cities. Is that, are we sustaining when we are saying we are building in wetlands? And then it's also environmental dimension interlinkage with SDG number 13, whereby climate change can affect water availability and quality of water as well. Think of places where there are floods, think of places where houses have been swept, or think of places whereby there is drought. So that it links again with the climate action. And then on environmental dimension, think of SDG number 4, life below water, where poor water quality can also affect the marine life and the ecosystems. Then lastly, let's think of SDG number 5, where we are on land. It's SDG number 6 links very well also with SDG number 15, but because we're by promoting sustainable land use and reducing the impact of human activities like agriculture, how does it affect SDG number 6? Where do we plant and so forth? So there are interlinkages with other sustainable development, water sanitation issues that need to be looked into because we have got so many problems that are there. For example, there is limited access to safe and water and sanitation. So this causes a lot of problems, especially during the COVID-19. There was, because of COVID-19, there was restriction. People could wake up as early as couldn't go and line up for water because of the restrictions that were there. So many people in Africa, especially, for example, I'm giving an example of Africa. I know that water problems are everywhere in the world, in all the continents. Many people in Africa, they lack access to safe drinking water. And according to the United Nations, about 40% of the population, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, do not have access to safe drinking water. In Zimbabwe, Southern Africa, we have a lot of problems. We do not have clean access to water. I've been living in this suburb for the past since 2003. We do not have any we do not have any access to water from the city of Harare, and we have to sink boreholes. And you know that when you're sinking boreholes and when you're sinking wells, especially in areas like Tungwiza, whereby there are broken sewage pipes, the sewage goes into the wells. So it means that there's no safe water and sanitation as well. So that's the problem that we have. And then poor infrastructure and inadequate investments. Those are some of the issues that we are facing because investments in water and sanitation infrastructure, which is necessary to provide universal access to safe water and sanitation. Then we look at the climate change and environmental degradation that is happening in most of the parts in the continent and everywhere in the world. And these are affecting our water resources as well and availability in Africa. Like, for example, here in Zimbabwe with Cyclone Idai last year, I think last month we had another cyclone that struck Mozambique. So those are some of the climatic changes that are affecting water resources and availability. And this has led to increased water scarcity, which affects the quality, and it also affects the quantity of water available for drinking, water available for irrigation and other uses. And then also due to urbanization, people moving from the rural areas coming into the towns, and the population growth, we have got this problem in many parts of the world and in many parts of Africa. And this has put a lot of pressure on the water resources and sanitation systems having problems, because whereby in one house, which used to house 2 or 3 people, now 20 people are living there, and is straining our water resources, and it leads to burst pipes as well. So this has led to increased demand for water and sanitation services, and which has not been met by corresponding increases in the supply of people. And then we look at our continent as well. Has got a lot of conflicts, a lot of insecurity. This has led to the breakdown of water and sanitation systems, because people now are concentrating on the conflicts and not looking at the services that should be offered to people in that country or in that town. So these challenges require a lot of concerted efforts by the governments, by partners, other stakeholders to address them and to achieve SDG number 6 in the whole world. And then those are some of the problems that I have been talking about that I sourced from the internet. For example, people being moved around because of scarcity of water, decline in water resources, and then because of droughts, people are not growing crops, there is insufficient food, and unpredictable weather. Sometimes it is too cold and our plants dry. Those are some of the problems that are being caused in the high population urbanization. You can see here affecting the housing, the communal wall, the communal facilities, and then also the sanitation systems, the toilets, because there are so many people now living in the house. Blockages are happening, bursts are happening. No one is concentrating on repairing, because they are looking at political issues or governmental issues that do not have anything to do with water. And then we end up with contaminated water and so many problems. And then looking at my country, I thought that I could also look at my country, Zimbabwe. We have got a plethora of problems which have to do with water and sanitation issues. For example, poor water and sanitation. Why? Because our pipes were put then in the regime that was there long back, and the pipes, the aging water and sanitation infrastructure, resulting in blockages, resulting in sewage leaks. So this requires significant investment to upgrade and maintain, of which with our unstable economy, we cannot do that. And many people in rural areas also are lacking access to basic water and sanitation. And those in the urban areas, we also face the water shortages and inadequate sanitation facilities. For example, we now have got electricity shedding, so load shedding. The better part of the day, our electricity goes at 5 o'clock in the morning and it comes back at 11 p.m. midnight, 11 p.m. midnight. So it means the whole morning we do not have water the whole day, and then we can't pump our boreholes. So we end up with water scarcity. And then climate change and environmental degradation is happening as well and affecting our water resources, because we are experiencing recurring droughts, and it has led to water scarcity. And then we have got limited financial resources, which means that we end up not having the infrastructure that we need to get water. And then the poor water quality, the water sources, excuse me, in Zimbabwe are often contaminated due to inadequate treatment because of limited financial resources. Sometimes we are not able to buy the chemicals that are needed. Sometimes we are not able to do the repairs that are needed to our water pipes and so forth. So this has led to high rates of waterborne diseases such as cholera and typhoid. This is how it links with other SDGs like good world health on SDG number 3. And then besides that, Zimbabwe faces a lot of governance issues because of political instability. Right now, we will be having elections, I think, in August. So there are so many issues that need to be looked at. But because people now are diverting their attention to that the elections, so it faces governance and institutional challenges that affect the delivery of water and sanitation services. For example, I can give even a simple example, like, for example, if this house is on fire, the fire brigade, they come, but they do not bring water. We have to look for water to assist them. So that's how bad some things are. And corruption as well and mismanagement have undermined the effectiveness of public institutions in Zimbabwe responsible for water and sanitation service deliveries. So these challenges also require concerted efforts by the government, development partners, and other stakeholders. Now, let me move on to another slide. This, I just wanted to show you what I was talking about in picture form. For example, this picture, you can see that because of our aging pipes, look at the water, quality of water, look at the water that is there. Look at this woman that they just suck a well, a shallow well. Even a dog or any animal can go in there and they're sharing that water with other people, and it's very dirty when it is raining. Also water fills in that, so it means they are not getting access water. And then we also use the water that is, we fetch water, some of the people fetch water from the rivers, and bear in mind that those rivers are also used for washing their clothes. They use them for bathing water. So you can see that where people are bathing here, someone is fetching water downhill. So it means all the dirt is going into the people's mouths and something eating or consumption. So this is how bad sometimes the situation is. And then if you look at the boy with the hopeless face and look at the our child there who is supposed to be at school going to fetch water. So those are some of the challenges that we are facing. So as a country, and some of them are not even as unique because they also affect other countries. So what are the possible solutions to the challenges? First, I think the government needs to invest in water and sanitation infrastructure. The government maybe and some development partners could invest in upgrading and expanding water and sanitation infrastructure, particularly in rural areas where access to these services is limited. For example, this would include constructing new water supply systems. I know that the government has sunk some boreholes in some areas, and then also rehabilitating the existing infrastructure, especially in town, replacing those old pipes and putting the new ones, and also investing in sanitation facilities. I think the Ministry of Health should go around and check, because they're the ones who should check on these ones, especially on sanitation facilities. And then we need to have a strict water conservation and management system to address the water scarcity. This could implement water conservation, maybe measures such as rainwater harvesting. I know that at the school that I am in, we did some water harvestings. We have a small dam in the school whereby we collect all the water that is coming from the gutters. I should have shown you the picture that we have of the system that we have at my school, whereby we do rainwater harvesting. And then we can also make use of reusing water and recycling water as well, and efficient irrigation practices that can be done. And then the country also, I think we also need to promote integrated water resources management to ensure sustainable use of water resources. And then looking at climate change adaptation as a solution to the challenges. We need to develop and implement measures to mitigate the impact of climate change. For example, when Cyclone Idai struck, because of disaster management systems that we have, poor disaster management systems that we have, so many people were swept away. And when drought came, we had so many challenges, so much that you would be arrested even to use a hose pipe for watering your crops. So I think we need to implement measures to mitigate these climate changes that happen, and also building resilience in water supply system, and then also awareness campaign, especially promoting drought-resistant crops like the sorghum, the millet, which we can use instead of the maize, and then maybe implementing early warning systems for droughts and floods, because sometimes they come very early when the flood is about to come. So those early warning systems will help, especially the meteorological department should be tasked to do this, so that they give out early warning signs, especially if there's going to be a flood, so that people can take measures to store the food that they have, the water that they have. And then we need to improve on the water quality, as you saw the picture that of the brown water that is coming for consumption by people. So effort should be made to improve the quality of water supply, maybe through the treatment of water and regulation of sanitation practices. This could improve. This could include improving water treatment facilities. I know that we've got a water treatment facility there in nearby Norton, but we need some more. And then promoting safe sanitation practices and increasing public awareness on water quality issues. I think the Ministry of Health and Water should be tasked to do this, and also in our communities, so that we raise this awareness on water quality issues, on conservation and water, on so many things that apply to the water. And then the country also, or the continent, or we need to address governance institutional challenges, maybe by improving our transparency. There's so much corruption that is taking place. For me to get a water system running, or for me to have I need to pay someone to do something for me. So there's that need for transparency and accountability. And then also participation in water sanitation service delivery. For example, some areas, if they do not have water, the city of Harare can deliver water to those areas. So this could also involve strengthening the capacity of public institutions, like I said, the cities of Harare, the city of Bulawayo, which are responsible for the water sanitation service delivery, and also involved in community and decision making. There are so many things that our country can do to help. But besides that, there are some milestones that have been achieved by my country as well, that can be also be applied to other countries. We have what we call a national water resources policy, which guides the management of water resources in the country. But like I told you, there's a lot of corruption, a lot of red tape, bureaucracy. Some of the systems are not working as well. So, but this policy, if it was to work well, it is to promote sustainable use of water. And it would aim at ensuring adequate access to safe water and sanitation for all. And then the water and sanitation sector strategy, which was introduced, outlines the priorities, targets, and actions needed to achieve universal access to safe water and sanitation by 2030. And then rehabilitation of water infrastructure. In some areas, they've rehabilitated, but still a lot needs to be done. For example, the government has invested in the rehabilitation of the water supply system in Harare. But Harare is not Zimbabwe. We've got so many towns, we've got so many cities in Zimbabwe that also need an improvement in water supply and sanitation for all its residents. Then we have what we call the community-based water and sanitation program. And this one is for the rural areas to improve access to safe water. I know that in some rural areas, they've sunk boreholes for the people to get water from. So these programs involve the construction of new water supply systems, and some areas also they've sunk dams for water conservation as well. So rehabilitation of existing infrastructure and promotion of safe sanitation practices. And the other thing that we need to do is to to get partnership, public-private partnership. Look at SDG number 17. The government also has promoted public-private partnership to improve water and sanitation service delivery in some areas, but still it's not enough. For instance, the government has entered into a partnership with a private company to rehabilitate and manage the water supply system in Bulawayo, the country's second largest city, but still a lot needs to be done. So what can we do in our communities to help? For example, in the education sector, schools should provide access to safe, clean drinking water for students. This will help in the prevention of waterborne diseases. Then schools should also provide adequate sanitation facilities. I know that the Ministry of Health, they normally look at the ablution blocks for each and every school. And then also schools can also incorporate lessons on water and sanitation into their curriculum. This will help in making people aware of the importance of clean water and sanitation and promoting good hygiene practices. And then also schools can also practice sustainable water management, such as collecting rainwater for irrigation, like I explained to you that we have this at our school, and this can help conserve water resources. And then as a country, what can we do as a community to help, especially how we manage water in agriculture and in our homes? It is very important because it ensures sustainable use of precious resource, which is water. And there's need for efficient irrigation. For example, making use of what we call drip irrigation. I know that during COVID time, we learned so many things because we were at home, and so people were using the greenhouse, and then they were using the drip irrigation, which reduces water use in agriculture. And then also the other things that we can implement are areas of the day can also reduce water loss if you do and collecting and storing rainwater harvesting. It can also provide a source of water for agriculture and home use. This can be done using rain barrels and cisterns. Then we also need to install water efficiency fixtures such as the low flow shower heads that we can use. The toilets can reduce water usage in home, and then reusing grey water, which is water from the sinks, water from the showers and washing machines for irrigation or toilet flushing can reduce the amount of fresh water we need. And then water conservation habits that we can also practice, such as turning off the tap while brushing teeth or fixing leaks promptly in our houses. And then we need to also to have proper wastewater treatment, and then effective water management requires a lot of our. So you can see here what the government has also done. They've sunk boreholes, they've put in tanks, and then in the community we can fundraise, we can save water, we can raise awareness. And then if you look at this picture, this is a solar powered pipe water scheme that has also been introduced in some of the rural areas in Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. But I know that in our homes, we can also help, especially in water management, for reducing water consumption and promoting sustainable use of this precious water. For example, fixing leaks promptly is one of the things that you can do. Even that small leak can waste a significant amount of water. And then take shorter showers, turn off the tap, reuse grey water, collecting rainwater. There are so many things that we can adopt in our homes that can help us save water. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be sharing with you today on Sustainable Development Goal number 6, of which I think United Nations have done quite a lot to achieve although there's still much work to be done. For example, like I was telling you, that in terms of safely managed drinking water, I think the percentage has increased from 61% to 71%. And then safely managing sanitation services, I think United Nations has also achieved quite a bit on this goal, from 28% to 45%. And then it has done several key actions that are needed to achieve SDG number 6. But we are the people who use the water in our communities, in our homes. There's so much that we can do to help out, especially in water management, having safe water and also sanitation services. We need to raise awareness in our communities, in our homes. Thank you so much.
Dr. Zimbabwe. Now, our next keynote speaker is Dr. Hajraja Suzana. She's from Raja Qasim University, Malaysia, and she's going to talk about decent work and economic growth. Professor Dr. Suzana holds a postgraduate diploma in entrepreneurship from the University of Cambridge Judge Business School. She is currently an entrepreneur and management professor at University Malaysia. She was featured in the book on the contribution of women to the global Islamic economy in 2023, published by the Islamic Economy Academy in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. Dr. Suzana has given numerous speeches on different subjects in domestic and Commonwealth countries. She has 5 years of experience in the startup industry. She coordinates the Bottom 40 Youth program at the University. So we are to hear Dr. Hajraja Suzana.
Hello, very good morning, good afternoon. I think I have some problems to get into the sharing of my notes. Yeah, can you assist me on that? Let me see. Share content, include computer sound. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, ma'am. I am requesting Dr. Patricia Gonde to stop sharing her screen so that you can share, ma'am.
Yes, please do that. Dr. Patricia? Yes.
I have stopped. It's okay.
Dr. Suzana, now you can share your screen.
Yeah, let me see if I can. Because it doesn't allow me to do so just now. I've shared the PDF version to Prof. Dr. Rasmi. I don't think so. I think I have some problem here. Security, privacy area. Let me just take a look. If we can share from your side, I can just proceed. Time is just on the right. We are breaking our fast now.
Dr. Suzana, please try to share from your side. Maybe now it can be possible.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I have to quit and reopen the Teams. Okay, I just have to quit and reopen the Teams.
Hello everybody.
Hello. I'm trying to get into the sharing of the content. Is it visible now?
Yeah.
What did you see? Did you see my Canva?
Yeah, okay.
All right. So thank you very much. I think my acknowledgement first thing and foremost to Professor Dr. Rashmi, who has been constantly supporting, I think, everybody here, right, to work on this agenda. So we are back for UN Sustainable Development Goals Summit 2023, and also my gratitude to all the partner institutions, Tradepreneur, Global Research Organization, and also the KC Group of institutions. So my task today, on a very quick one, is to tackle the SDG 7. Yeah, our friend has been working along and discussing a lot about the water quality level, and now it's my turn to talk about the affordable and clean energy. So these are actually part of the content, that I'll be sharing on a quick one today. We talk about the concern of the nation, in particular lack of access to energy supplies and also transformation system. So that appear to be a lot of things that make us so constrained in our life as a human and also in economic development. And along the line, perhaps in the country perspective, some of the Malaysian achievements and challenges will be also shared. And in particular, the government has been placed a lot of attention today with regard to the advancing of the green growth for sustainability and resilience, and also about the energy sustainability itself and transforming the water sector. We don't have as much, I think, as deep a problem as what have been shown in Harare, Zimbabwe, but we do have some concern about, the water quality level in the country, and also some of the success story of our Green Accelerator program. Now you see on the screen right now is actually some portion that I've extracted from United Nations with regard to the issues on, you see, today, when we talk about this use of electricity, in the modern world, 1 in 5 people still lack access to modern electricity, and 3 billion people rely on wood. You see all these traditional process and even animal waste for cooking and eating. So there could be a lot of other constraint about the water and even air pollution. When we talk about indoor air pollution itself, there are about 4.3 people were killed, and most of them appear to be women and children because of this poor level of air quality. And also the energy provided by the fossil fuel is actually one of the main contributor, because there appear to be an increased use of these fossil, and then without actions to mitigate the greenhouses, so it will have a lot of global climate change implications. So we need to put all these proper and impressively about this electrification. It has been slow in certain country because of the number of people without electricity is still very high. So why? Because it's difficult for the certain policy even in the what do you call developing country and a third country, right? Because it's difficult to reach them, and there appear to be 2010 to upcoming 2030 about 679 million. And international financial flow also been seen now to drop. This has been tackled by the report from the United Nations. There have been a decline for the second year in a row in terms of the financial assistance to those in the needy, right? So we will also see another perspective about energy efficiency, in terms of tackling the 2.5 billion people who are still used inefficient and polluting cooking system, as what mentioned in our earlier slide. And the total renewable energy consumption have been increased, but the actually availability of the renewable energy is only 17.7%. So this is actually another perspective that is alarming. So in Malaysia, perhaps the area of working on advancing the green growth for sustainability and resilience has been focusing a lot on about reducing the low carbon impact. So we have been implementing a low carbon, clean and resilient development towards moving the nation itself. And we are also supporting the transition to the circular economy. Right? In particular, the sharing responsibility in pollution prevention. We have a lot of mitigations, interventions and programs being supported by the government, and have a big industry player to come in, and also that help to increase the resilience against climate change and disasters. Now, what you can see right now is actually on the some area that have been successful, I must say, about solar power generations, which have been used to organize and sort trashes. So they have all these scooter, through these electric vehicles, that have been assist to transfer the trash to truck. So this is actually being equipped with the open air collection center where solar panel has been used. So it symbolized the eco and clean aspect. And actually I was one of the evaluator for this project. So the successful business model for this electric vehicle has actually been placed a lot of interest in the government sectors, and it has been used in patrolling and security. And even the KFC Malaysia, the fast food restaurant, the rider have been using these electric vehicles to proceed with the delivery process. And I think one of the most interesting area, this particular EV, we call it, electric vehicle, has been able to promote its viability at this UNESCO Heritage Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And it has shared a lot about ecotourism opportunity. So I was there. Yeah, the cost of this is about 20,000 ringgit Malaysia. You can extract that from a US dollar for each of the EV. But in the long run, it has a lot of things support the environment because of the clean air, and then reduce the emission of SO2 that polluted the area. So some of the development about our progress with the United Nations Industrial Development Office, working along with the Global Energy Forum, is to focus on promoting the clean energy technology. And from that area, we have been embarking into a number of projects throughout the countries. Some of the SDG projects located in the northern area of Malaysia. I'm reside here on the East Coast area in Kota Baru. And we also have some other areas that support the government in terms of strengthening the policy and regulatory framework for activity that connects the Clean Tech Entrepreneurship Acceleration Program. So that program has been successful in my concern as the international consultant for local Malaysian startup and SME. We have been focusing on area of evaluating their performance. So this is actually part and parcel of our evaluation process. And then the support is actually coming from the Global Energy Forum Fund, and it has been steered to one of the Malaysian industry government group for high technology, which appear to be the leading, project management unit. And we have the Clean Tech Open from US, who assist us on transferring all the knowledge about clean energy and how the process of starting up to boost, the opportunity for a young entrepreneur in Malaysia to start promoting the clean tech process. So that fund is actually also opening up a lot of opportunity in terms of entrepreneurial innovation. So that help to offer and deliver some of the SDG impact, because our job is not just about accelerator, but we need to see to what extent the clean tech opportunity has bring about another perspective and value towards reducing, the CO2 gas emissions and some other area of concern. So that is actually help us to bring along about a platform to link the green industry in the country, entrepreneurs who are putting effort on the clean tech, opportunity, academia who are pursuing area on this clean energy, and even investor, NGO, and other utility and society for Malaysia attainment of low carbon economy. So we also promote innovative solution, and we have been part of the reference center for clean tech innovation, and we house all the local international clean tech solution provider. So maybe some of those areas of concern that we have been put forth on the success story of our Green Accelerator program, I would like to share. There were about 25 have been selected throughout almost 400 over of Green Accelerator process of challenge that we have been taking. And some of the areas here, maybe I can just share with you the example of SME that appear to be showing a good progress during our evaluation. So we have here the Pakar Go Green Sdn Bhd is actually offering a lot of innovative solution on clean technology using microwave energy to burn the biomass biochar with a rapid process of at least 50% faster than conventional pyrolysis, which actually save a lot of energy, about 90%, and lesser, green gas house emission. So the biochar produced is targeted to coal-fired power plants, as biochar gives 32% of the more efficient burning, and is lesser than CO2 emission than the ordinary coal. And next is the Suncorp Solar. We visited some of the area because I think this young guy has been getting a lot of energy to support the standalone solar project. So these cover those area which does not have grid power dependency. And then I think we have gone through some of the downtown area in the country, and then the objective is actually to provide power ready home for users. And some of these initiatives actually opening a lot of opportunity for startup and SME in Malaysia to get along together for the country to support the area of green and clean. And then Logication is actually one of the IoT company which specialize on environment monitoring systems for homes and businesses. And actually the environment monitoring system here is able to offer a lot of detection, analysis, and also provide responses to users' mobile devices from the detected by the devices sensors such as detection of high temperature, smoke, and otherwise. So they have been targeting a lot of industry market like cold chain industry, data center, factory, and even commercial building and residential. And interestingly, out of those many, only one lady who had been participating, B. Bonobo, right, who have been engaged into activity that connects on the free online network that connect individual and businesses to list. If you have all the unwanted items, you can search for them in the same city or town. You save money, you reduce waste, you save resources, and in return of that, for every 150 users who have been piloted in this project, around 50 transactions was launched, and the early adopter was actually those come from the students in low income families. So they can list an item for free or for three. So when the giver lists an item for three, the taker will pay like $3 fixed fee, and $1 is used to plant one actual tree. Plant a tree, and on behalf of the giver, so they can be of help to save the environment. So I will not take much of the time, right? So in conclusion of the sharing today, Malaysia is looking forward for these couple of months. Our new Prime Minister have been targeting in the next 5 years. We want to see more shifting to sustainable economic practices, and not alone about economic, but also the lifestyles that value anything with regard to natural endowments and environmental health. And then we are addressing the issue of climate change. We are supporting United Nations move, so that we are able to offer some solutions and to tackle all these unsustainable consumption and production practices, and also loss of biodiversity. And yes, of course, importantly, implementing the policy, and also in efficient water resources management. And in particular, some of the area of concern also connect us to the circular economy, and that would help the country to, maybe yield some efficiency gains and even cost effectiveness, as well as reduce the pressure on the environment. And last but not least, it will also deliver a more innovative and competitive economy, so that we are able to create new opportunities for the green growth to be developed in the country. So with that, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was Dr. Hajraja Sultana from Malaysia. Now, the next keynote speaker in the row is Dr. Niara Radwan. Dr. Niara is Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Faculty of Engineering in Suez Canal University, Egypt. Dr. Radwana is working as an associate professor in 2 universities in 2 different countries, Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Besides her academic tasks, she worked with many quality accreditations bodies such as ABET, AMBA, AACSB. She was the quality assurance officer for the master program in King University from 2017 to 19. Dr. Niara has many international projects contributions and published many papers in high-nosed journals. Dr. Niara is an international speaker. She participated as a keynote speaker as well as a session chairperson in more than 60 international conferences, workshops, and webinars. So we are going to hear Dr. Niara Radwan from Egypt.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction. Greetings all from Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Actually, I'm Egyptian, but now I'm working in Saudi Arabia in King Abdulaziz University. First of all, I would like to thank all the conference organizers for their great effort. A special thanks and appreciation to Professor Rashmi to give me this chance to be with you today. Thank you so much. My presentation now in the full mode, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Today we speak about SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth. So please first let me explain what the meaning of Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals are a set of 17 global goals adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015 as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. These goals are designed to provide a universal framework for countries and stakeholders to work together towards a more sustainable and equitable world. The Sustainable Development Goals covers a range of issues related to social, economic, and environmental sustainability, including poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life, pure water, life on land, peace, just and strong institutions and partnership for the goals. The Sustainable Development Goals are designed to be interconnected, recognizing that progress in one area can have a positive impact on other areas. The goals are also inclusive with an emphasis on engaging all stakeholders, including governments, civil society, the private sector, and individuals. The Sustainable Development Goals aim to provide a roadmap for sustainable development that is integrated and balanced, recognizing that economic, social, and environmental sustainability are independent and mutually reinforcing. By working together to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, countries and stakeholders can help to create a more equitable and sustainable world for all. This is about the meaning of Sustainable Development Goals. Now, what is the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development? The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is a global plan of action adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015. It is a 15-year plan designed to address some of the world's most pressing challenges related to sustainable development, such as poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, and social injustice. At the heart of the 2030 Agenda are the Sustainable Development Goals, which are a set of 17 interlinked goals and 169 targets that provide a universal framework for all countries to work toward a more sustainable and equitable world. These goals are designed to be integrated and balanced, recognizing the economic, social, and environmental sustainability and are interconnected and interdependent. This is about the 2030 Agenda. Also, the 2030 Agenda is a transformative agenda that aims to leave no one beyond, recognizing the need for inclusive and sustainable development that benefits all people, including those who are marginalized or vulnerable. It is also a universal agenda that implies to all countries, regardless of their level of development or income. The 2030 Agenda is based on a spirit of partnership and collaboration, recognizing the need for all stakeholders, including governments, civil society, the private sector, and individuals to work together to achieve these goals. The agenda calls for a range of actions, including policy changes, investment in sustainable infrastructure, technology development and transfer, capacity building, and global partnership for sustainable development. Overall, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development provides a global framework for creating a more sustainable, equitable, and prosperous world, and it represents a collective commitment by the international committee to work together to achieve this vision. Today, I will focus briefly about Sustainable Development Goal number 8. Sustainable Development Goal number 8, which refers to the goal number 8 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by the United Nations, as we said before. It is aimed to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. As we see, this is the official targets and indicators under Sustainable Development Goal number 8. Let us see some of the specific targets of Sustainable Development Goals number 8. Sustainable Development Goal 8 refers to the goal number 8, as we said, from these 17 goals. Some of the specific targets for these goals are achieving higher levels of economic productivity through diversification, technological upgrading, and innovation, including through a focus on high value added and labor intensive sectors. Also, promoting policies that support job creation and entrepreneurship, especially for women and youth, and reducing informal employment. Another target is improving access for financial service and markets for small and medium-sized enterprises. Also, ensuring safe and secure working environments for all workers, including migrant workers, and promoting decent work conditions. Another target is combating forced labor, modern slavery, and human trafficking, and eliminating child labor in all its forms. Protecting labor rights and promoting safe and secure working environments for all workers, including those in the informal economy. Also, Sustainable Development Goals recognize that economic growth and employment are important for reducing poverty and achieving sustainable development. However, it also emphasizes the importance of ensuring that economic growth is inclusive and sustainable, and that all workers have access to decent work and fair labor conditions. So why is this goal is important globally? Sustainable Development Goal number 8 is important because it addresses the fundamental issues of economic growth, employment, and decent work for all. Economic growth and job creation and essential for reducing poverty, promoting social inclusion, and achieving sustainable development. By promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, Sustainable Development Goal 8 can contribute to achieving a range of other goals, such as reducing inequalities, improving health and education outcomes, and also promoting sustainable consumption and production patterns. Another importance is Sustainable Development Goal 8 emphasizes the importance of decent work for all, which includes fair wage, safe and healthy working conditions, and protection of labor rights. This is important for promoting social justice and reducing inequality. Achieving this goal can help to reduce the vulnerability of workers, especially in developing countries, to economic shocks and social crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Overall, Sustainable Development Goal 8 is important component for the global agenda for sustainable development, as it provides a roadmap for promoting economic growth, employment, and decent work in a way that is sustainable and inclusive and help to create a better future for all. Now, let us see the most important challenge facing the world to achieve this goal. These challenge, as we see in the figure, number one, economic inequalities. Economic inequalities are a major obstacle to achieving these goals. Many countries are facing significant income and wealth gaps, which make it difficult to create decent work opportunities and promote inclusive economic growth. The second challenge is informal economy. A significant promotion of the global workforce operates in the informal economy with little or no protection for their rights, health, or safety. This poses a challenge to creating decent work opportunities and improving working conditions. Challenge number three is youth unemployment. Youth unemployment is a significant challenge in many countries, with young people facing high rates of unemployment, and unemployment is is a very important issue in all the countries. This is not only affects their economic prospects, but also limits their social and political participation. Challenge number four is gender equality. Gender equality is a significant barrier to achieving this goal, with women often facing discrimination in the workplace, unequal pay, and limited opportunities for career advancement. Challenge number five is climate change. Climate change is a significant challenge to sustainable economic growth and employment, as it poses risks to many sectors, including agriculture and tourism. Climate change also increases the vulnerability of workers, especially in developing countries, to economic shocks and social crisis. Challenge number six is lack of investment. The achievement of this goal requires significant investment in infrastructure, education, and technology, among other things. However, many countries face a lack of investment, especially in developing countries, which limits their ability to create decent work opportunities and promote economic growth. Overall, achieving this goal requires a comprehensive approach that addresses these and other challenges, including policy changes, investment in education and infrastructure, and social protection measures, among others. Finally, let's have some ideas to achieve this goal by 2030. This screen highlights some ideas that can help us to reach Sustainable Development Goal number 8 by 2030. Number one, promote entrepreneurship and support small and medium-sized enterprises. Governments can provide financial support, training, and mentorship to entrepreneurs and to help them grow and create jobs. Another good idea is to invest in education and vocational training. Providing education and vocational training opportunities can help individuals acquire the skills and the knowledge necessary to secure good jobs and contribute to economic growth. Another idea is to encourage private sector investment. Governments can create a favorable business environment that attracts private sector investment, which can help to create jobs and stimulate economic growth. Idea number four, address gender and youth employment gaps. Governments can implement policies that promote gender equality and youth employment, such as increasing access to education and training, providing child care support, and eliminating discriminatory hiring practices. Idea number five is improving labor market information systems. Also, governments can improve labor market information system to provide timely and accurate information in job opportunities, skills in demand, and labor market trends, which can help job seekers and employers make more informed decisions. Another idea is address informal employment. Governments can develop policies that support informal workers, such as by providing access to social protection programs and promoting formalization. Idea number seven, eliminate child labor and forced labor. Governments can enforce laws and regulations that prohibit child labor and forced labor and promote decent work conditions for all workers. Idea number 8, invest in infrastructure. Also, governments can invest in infrastructure such as roads, energy, and water supply, which can help to stimulate economic growth and create jobs. Number 8, promote sustainable tourism. Government can promote sustainable tourism that generate economic benefits while preserving natural and cultural resources and promoting local employment. And finally, support innovation and technology transfer. Governments can promote innovation and technology transfer by supporting research and development, investing in infrastructure, and providing incentives for private sector innovation. Actually, this thin idea could be done by any government. It will help to achieve Sustainable Development Goal number 8 by 2030. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So this was Dr. Niara Radwan from Saudi Arabia. So here today we heard 3 keynote speakers from across the different parts of the globe. And we are ready to enter the 4th day of the International Summit. Thank you so much for joining in today and having a conversation with all of us. Thank you so much for that. Now I would like to invite Vardi Campus Director, Professor Dr. Rashmi Gujrati for vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Ravneet, for inviting me. And it's my big thanks to Dr. Nayara, Dr. Sujana, and Dr. Patricia. These our speaker has highlighted on the SDG Goal 6, SDG Goal 7, and SDG Goal 8. Dr. Patricia has shown the scene of South Africa. He has explained that how the country is facing there. Dr. Sujana has explained very well about the SDG 7-9. And Dr. Nayara has explained decent work and economic development. And this is also, this goal is my favorite goal because it is related with the economic development. Because if in the economic there is a sustainability, means that we are growing in many areas. As we can develop our entrepreneurship, we can give a good employment to our generation. With that, I give my big thanks to all the speakers, all the guests, and Dr. Heidi, Dr. Jeong, Dr. Suman, Vikrant sir, Dr. Patricia, and rest other professors, those who have joined this event. And thank you very much, students are here. We all are trying to give a awareness related with the sustainable development. And I wish and hope that they have learned a lot of things from our speakers. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.